y'all ready for this?
Good evening, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another exhilarating episode here at the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. This evening, we have the wonderful privilege and honor to spend time with the amazing and beautiful Amanda Parker. But before I bring her on screen, I'm going to read her bio. She's a single mother, a business owner and entrepreneur who's passionate about making a difference in the world. She models and acts on the side while also working as an account manager for Fizzy. In her spare time, she runs her own e-commerce store, and the link is in the description, and advocates for cannabis and hemp legalization. Her life took a turn 6 years ago, and since then, she's been on a mission to inspire others to chase their dreams and never give up. Her journey is all about positivity, growth, and success. And I just want to give a special shout out to our dear friend, John Varnes. And I'm going to bring you on screen, Amanda, because John has a special message for you. Let me read his exact words. He said, "The Amanda Parker model experience is popping."
Yes. Popping.
Popping. Welcome to Meticulous Moments, Amanda. I've read your bio, but please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yes. So my name is Amanda. I am a single mom. I'm based out of Oregon. I'm born and raised here. I lived in California for a couple of years, but moved back to Oregon. Since then, pretty much, so about like 6 years ago, my life took a turn. I pretty much was hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing the wrong things, everything you could think of. It just was not helping my life. So about 6 years ago, pretty much everything came to a crash, and it helped me turn my life around. And since then, it's been an amazing journey, actually. I mean, it's not perfect, some ups and downs, but that's how life goes. But at the same time, it's definitely the whole point of the keep pushing. And since then, it's crazy because of how much stuff has changed in my life, positive. Even when there are some negative things, it's the whole deal that there's a positive that comes out of it. It might not be right there, but at least and a few I find out. But I also, so besides all that, I also been working as an account manager for Fizzy infused beverages. It's a new drink that's on the market. It's actually like nothing else. I'm actually kind of stoked to be working with them just because this is a product that is not like any others that is out there. It works similar to like alcohol, but it does not have the same crazy effects. The alcohol, you can still, there's no taste, none of that kind of stuff. So it's exciting with that company. I also run an e-commerce company, which is about health and wellness. It has health products on there that I have personally been using. Also products from the company that have been some of the number one choices that have been picked to be selling. And I'm actually a big fan of those products also. And then in a few, I have what else? Oh, so about my cannabis and hemp, I do labor consulting for the cannabis and hemp industry. I do anything from trimming, well, pretty much production work. Trimming is like my specialty. I also help train people, help with SOPs. I help companies pretty much in anything that they need, even down to branding and promoting. Um, it's nice just to be able to do a bunch of different things. As we've talked before, I do have my hands in a lot of different things, but at the same time, it's kind of nice because they all kind of align together. I also have been doing modeling and acting. Modeling is something that I actually started through a friend and ended up liking it just because it was one of those things that helped empower me more. It helped empower me to be comfortable in my own skin, to be, you know, just more of me and accept who I am and everything like that. And it's why I enjoy modeling. It's more on the side now that I do it just because I've been doing so much of my business stuff, but I still enjoy doing it. I do have that movie that I'm doing with John, which I'm excited about that. That is going to be big. But yes, so yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. And you have such a wonderful, a positive attitude, such a wonderful energy. I was actually sitting here while you were describing all the things that you are busy with, and a question popped into my mind. And I wondered, what is a perfect morning like for you? How would you describe the perfect morning?
Is that like with work or without?
Even on a holiday, even on a
um,
weekend?
the perfect days, honestly, it's waking up and not having to automatically attend to all my work, my messages, getting back to everybody. It does get a little overwhelming sometimes because I do everything kind of on my own right now. So it's nice. So yeah, but other than that, the perfect morning would be pretty much just being able to get up, not have to focus on work, pretty much spend it with my kid, enjoy the moments, especially because she just finishes school this week, so summer break's coming, so it's pretty exciting that she will be way more available.
Absolutely. Summer break is absolutely the best. And, you're a single mother, you're a phenomenal mother. And I want to ask you, what's your favorite part about being a parent?
um there's so much. My favorite thing about being a parent is um for one, it's like the unconditional love. I do love that. The other thing is too is that I have loved watching my kid grow into this amazing young woman that it has been nice to watch just because it's like even with not making right choices in my own personal life when years ago, the fact that it has not affected her. I mean, I love the fact that she is so independent, and at the same time it's like she's so positive. Even when we were like joking about things, all this, it's like, I mean, she can always come up with a positive if there's something negative that happens like in our lives, like, and we sit there and we'll like crack jokes and everything, but it's like it's pretty amazing. I love everything about being a parent, honestly.
They do change our lives. They do change our lives. And, she picks that energy up from you. And
Hmm.
I want to say something to the audience. Strong women raise strong, not only women, but also men. And it's very important that the mother figure is also acknowledged, when we are talking family and when we are talking parenting, because we have a special role that we fulfill, especially as single parents. We actually fulfill the role of the mom and the dad, so it's no
Yeah.
easy task, but we love doing that. And you were describing how you're an entrepreneur. I mean, you are busy with so many projects. You're parenting as well, and you have, the business that you work for, the fizzy business. Tell us, where did this passion for entrepreneurship start? What was the day where you thought, I'm going to do something, I'm going to start this and this project?
Okay, so back when I was in high school, I've always wanted to be a business owner. At that point, I didn't know what. I just knew I wanted to be a business owner. Up until a couple years ago, was when I decided that to fully take that leap. Even though it was kind of scary because you don't have like the security, pretty much you gotta go out there and make your money. You can't, be relying on a paycheck every week. Um, but part of that also was I actually worked for a couple companies. There was one company I actually worked for that it was one of those things where you put your all into it, everything like that. And then it just said things were, I didn't like the way the morals of the company. So it was ended up being putting in my 2 weeks and resigning. But then it's also how easily that you're replaced. Um, for your, even though that no matter how good of a worker you are, you're automatically replaced and all this. And so my whole thing was that if I'm going to put my all into a company, that for one, I want to believe in it, and two, that they have the same morals that I do. And then also I really like just working independently. I like having my own schedule. It works better. I only have to like answer to myself. I mean, besides the fact of making arrangements when I go work on these farms and all that kind of stuff, I really do. I mean, the thing with like the fizzy jobs, even though I'm working under him, it's like under the company, the whole deal is that I still have that free schedule. So I'm not being tied down to a 9 to 5. And that was my biggest thing to get away from. Just in the fact that like my kid, I mean, being a single parent in general, working the whole 9 to 5, everything like that. I went through that as a child. So it's the whole thing that like my mom was a single parent. She worked. I mean, she did an amazing job. She made sure that we were in sports, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it did suck because like we pretty much were at the schools or daycare or like, playing sports. And it's like, and I feel that's also where it started like turning for me of not being, that connection, because it kind of like you're getting older. So, life's busy. And that was something I wanted to make sure that with my kid that I was able to be home and more available for, even though still bringing in an income that can better our lives.
Some valuable points coming out there, absolutely. And I sense that you really enjoy the freedom, you enjoy the flexibility of your schedule. That's a good thing, because then you have the time to make time for the things that you really love to do. Now,
Mm-hmm.
talking a bit about the things that you really love to do, what would you like to do, or what do you like to do on weekends or when you have free time available?
What I like to do actually on my free time is I actually like to travel, to be honest with you. I just started traveling like 2 years ago. So when I took like my first airplane ride, which was actually crazy. And since then I have just flew places. Then other than that, I really like doing the outdoors. I like the hiking. I like the swimming. Summertime is like my favorite time of the year just because there's so much to do. There's just so much. Me and my kid have a bunch of plans booked for this summer, which I'm excited about. But yeah, it's pretty much just hanging out with friends. I mean, I have a small group, but at the same time, it's like with my kid, my family, and then like just traveling and exploring new places and everything is the other part.
Beautiful. I love that. I agree with you. There's nothing quite like traveling. I enjoy it as much, and I do it as much as the schedule allows. And you've been busy with all these projects, and 6 years ago your life really came to a halt. I mean, I would call it a crossroads, because that's what happened to me a few years ago. And we made a choice. I made a choice, you made a choice, and those choices that we made brought us to where we are today. I want to ask you now, how difficult was it for you in that situation to make that choice and to act on it?
At that point in my life, I was very desperate to change my life. I was very lost. It was a very dark low point for me. It's one of those I talk about where I pretty much you crawl out of the grave. So it's one of those that it was to the point that it just came. And then the other point was too is that it did take me away from my kid for 2.5 years. So that was a huge eye opener. So yes.
I'm so happy that, we look at these events and they're painful and they're difficult, but there are lessons to learn. You and
Mm-hmm.
I, in our different situations, we learned those lessons, and that just makes us wiser, just makes us stronger,
Yeah.
just makes us even more motivated to, follow up on those goals and the mission that we have. And along the way in my life, I've learned so many difficult lessons. There have been lessons that were really, really difficult for me, things that I really took. Sometimes it took me a while to digest, what I'd been through and to make sense of what was the purpose, what was the lesson in, everything that went down, everything that happened. And I want to ask you, we learn difficult lessons, but I want to ask you, what was the most difficult lesson that you've ever had to learn in your life? And it can be about anything, it can be work related, any field.
The hardest lesson I have learned is oh, that's a hard one. I mean, because honestly, the hardest lesson was pretty much like the 6 years ago was the hardest lesson. That pretty much from all my troubles and living a lifestyle that wasn't, the greatest. The fact that it did, the hardest lesson is that ended up putting me in prison. So it's one of those that it definitely was a eye opener, and it's just one of those that that's that's not my life. That's not my, whole deal. And like I said, the hardest part was being away from my kid, because I pretty much, I raised her every day, and then that happened. So it definitely was, yeah. So yeah.
Beautiful. And here you are today, inspiring all of us, with your vigor, with your know how, with your passion for all the things that you do. And you've been doing modeling. Now, for the audience members, not everyone is acquainted with how modeling works. What are the good points? What are the negative? Maybe there isn't negative points. I don't know. How would you describe modeling?
Eh, Modeling can be fun and not fun. If you don't have the passion for it, is another thing. But the other thing, if you are in it to try to make, a bunch of money or everything like that, it is definitely not like that. Especially the first couple of years when you start modeling. I'm grateful I had some mentors and some people that helped me through my first couple of years, because, I mean, you have everybody that comes out of the woodworks that wants you to sign these not good contracts. Want to, you know what I mean, pretty much it's like you're a fresh face, you're something that, and they want to take a advantage of. There are definitely some great people. I have worked with some amazing people over the years that have not only helped me expand my modeling, but at the same time, some of the photographers have been great teachers, how to making sure I pose and all that kind of stuff right, and getting that stuff down. It's definitely positive and negative. There's ups and downs. There is disappointments. There's sometimes things don't turn out right. But all it comes down to is that if you really like it or not. I suggest a lot of people should be modeling, even if it's not even for professional or any of that kind of stuff, because it really does empower you. It really does help you feel good. It helps. It's just in general. And I just feel that a lot more people would benefit more from it by going that route. But yes, it's always good to find, watch out for the places that, require you to do a payment or a fee. I have fell for one of those in my first time modeling, where they wanted me to pay a fee every month and all that kind of stuff. It definitely, those things right there automatically are no good. I do have an agent actually. John actually hooked me up with him. I haven't done much, but at the same time, I mean, it was great that I ended up getting him because it kind of helped not having a bunch of like just people coming out of the woodworks trying to work, because it'd be my whole thing now is that, you know what I mean, I have to talk to like either like my lawyer or my agent before we can go forward or anything like that, just so, you know what I mean, it helps me not getting in a sticky situation, especially with modeling, and, you know, just keeping safe and protecting myself.
That's amazing. Yes, I'm sure getting an agent safeguards you from a lot of things. So, to the audience members, if you're looking into modeling, hear what Amanda is telling you. Get yourself an agent and make sure that, like she says, the people that come out of the woodwork don't try and, blind you with messy contracts. That's very, very good advice, Amanda. And, being an entrepreneur, being a single mom, being a strong woman in society, leadership is very, very important to us. And I want to ask you about, the leadership journey that you've had. Was there a specific person that really stood up as a leader or stood out in your life as a leader that really imparted wisdom into your life?
I've actually had a few. Some that are just random, and then some that have actually helped me in the industry. For example, my she's a good friend now, but she was my mentor, my boss, when I first came into the industry. Her name's Jelena. She actually helped me understand the whole industry, how to, I mean, because I didn't know how to trim or do anything. So she helped walk me through. I mean, within 6 months, I was leading my own crews. 6 months later, I was managing my own crews. I was running 3 different crews by that time. And at the same, I mean, still to this day, I still go to her. I'm actually kind of excited. She's actually going to be starting her own joint company here soon. So I'm going to be helping her process that, which I'm stoked for, just because I like seeing people advance more around me and everything. I mean, it definitely, when people are miserable and unhappy with like their job, and it's not that, it's just that like when you work for a corporation, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like your pays aren't going to be the greatest. You're just an employee. I mean, which, I mean, it works for a lot of people, but you know, with the leaders and when you have talent and you want to keep moving up in life, it's definitely not the route to go anymore. So I'm glad that like I was able now to like help her like the way that she helped me years ago, you know, with this industry and get out there and everything like that. I'm not gonna, there was a few years ago too, I remember what was it, it's actually, I'm a fan of Gary Vee, and he's one of them who actually was about the same thing like we talked about, when people were like, you need to focus on just one thing and stick with that, blah blah blah. And then so it was kind of cool because like I remember watching one of the videos one day, and all of a sudden he was like, no, he's like, you should be able to, you could do multiple things, you know what I mean, pretty much, like, you know, they're gonna align, you don't know what's gonna take off, what's not gonna work. And that if you have a passion for these things and are able to, then continue doing them. And I like really love that, because it was like, well, this person's doing it that way, so I was like, you know, it's one of those. And then I mean, meeting you and knowing that you do it the same way, do have a bunch of different things, I mean, it's a proof right there that like you don't have to just focus on one thing. Like it is good to, you know what I mean, not have a whole bunch of different things. And that was something I did have to learn over the last couple of years, like not to spread myself too thin. But it definitely is way better, just because I also get the point where like I can get burned out or overwhelmed with one, so it's nice to like have a break and go figure, you know, and focus on something else, and then come back to that with like a fresher mind. That's another reason why I like having like a few different things going on at the same time.
I agree with you. You go, girl. I've been telling people for years, if you are skilled and versed in many areas, do not limit yourself and do not let other people limit you, because, that's their opinion. You know in your heart what you are capable of, so go do those things. You know in your heart which things you are good at, so go do those things. The world needs us. And yes, I agree with you. We don't spread ourselves too thin, but we definitely make sure that we follow our heart's desires and our passions. And it's easy for us to really get into that mode because it's something that comes naturally. It's never forced. It's something that we really love doing. So I absolutely appreciate you, Amanda. Now, I want to ask you to explain to the audience, because I find your business very, very
Mhm.
interesting. You work with cannabis and hemp.
Yeah.
Just explain to us what is the difference of those two, between those two.
Okay, so cannabis is more it gets you more high pretty much. So okay, so and it's also one of those things right now that is still it's in I think like half the states still it's still like you have the federal issues, you can still get in trouble, all this kind of stuff. Um but with hemp, it's a little bit different. Hemp has been around. I mean, you can technically still get high off of hemp, but it's also not the same. Um, yes. So, sorry, everyone, Blake, right there. But yeah, so pretty much with both of them, hemp you can do a lot more stuff with. Hemp you can end up turning into. I mean, they got building material. You can do clothing. You can do ink. You can do God, there's so much more. I mean, a lot of your household stuff, all this stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff can be replaced with hemp, and it's actually more better for you. Same with product wise. There's products that are out there, everything like that. Um, it's just that cannabis is more like it's the more high, so you get more of the psychoactive. I believe that's what it's called. Of getting that, so it's definitely like I said, that one's still a little bit more iffy for people because you know what I mean, it's been discriminated against for so many years and talked negatively about. But if people actually knew the benefits and actually saw that, like, yes, there are the cannabis people that are doing it, like, you know what I mean, like every other bloody, but it's cannabis and hemp, they both are a huge thing that can help change like the industries and change in general. I mean, the fact is that it's made it more, I mean, people are more calmer, the alcohol, everything like that has actually went down. Same with like drug use. You know what I mean, like people are able to transfer their stuff into and actually be more present and be around and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we even have that's part of like the product fizzy for the people who don't like cannabis or any of that kind of stuff. This fizzy drink, it actually works similar to it, where you can get that euphoriac, your body feel good, you know, that you feel relaxed, you feel social, all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, you don't have to worry about it getting you high, getting it crashed. Um, any of that kind of negative effects. Sometimes, like for example, when people smoke marijuana, it makes them paranoid. They get anxiety. I am actually one of those people who actually get that when I smoke certain strains, all that kind of stuff. So it's one of those where it's like finding alternatives, where you're able to still get all those cannabinoids and stuff like in your body and everything is partly like um, is a better way. I mean, that's why some people go to edibles. But the thing with edibles is that for the normal people, it's hard. It's harder for doing because you could take an edible and it might not kick in for like a half hour. And at the same time, you also don't know how strong it is. So some people, they'll end up taking more than what they should sometimes, or they'll take one. They're like, I don't feel anything. 15-20 minutes later, they take more. And then what happens is that you kind of got like too high. And then all of a sudden it's like the people like it negative, you know what I mean? And don't like it, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, so there's like it's cool with the new like with this fizzy drink, it's a new alternative where it actually hits you within 10 minutes and there is no crash, none of that, like you're feeling paranoid, high, anything like that. So it's kind of cool. I'm actually stoked about it. So it definitely would be cool.
It's very interesting. I know cannabis is also used for medicinal purposes. My mom had stage 4 brain cancer,
Mm,
and she used the oil. And I know the oil used to alleviate the pain. So I've heard about the products. These different products out there. I'm familiar with the cannabis oil that she used, but it's very, very interesting to learn a little bit more about cannabis and hemp.
yeah.
So, yeah.
RSO is what I believe your mom was probably taking. And that stuff has been proven over years to actually help reduce cancer. I mean, just in general, taking a little bit of RSO every day is really good for your body and can help, like, keep it healthy, all that kind of stuff. But yes, there's a lot of people cancer wise. I mean, you even have like there's kids who have epilepsy, all that kind of stuff that have actually used the RSO And actually it's like they have either none or very few, you know what I mean, like the epilepsy, and same with people who've had cancer and those kind of diagnoses. It actually helps. Same with Alzheimer's. It helps reduce. I mean, it doesn't take it away, but it helps slow down the process of actually you, you know, it going into a full effect. Like how some people, my grandma's actually one of them who's actually through has Alzheimer's, but it does kind of suck because they are against cannabis. So it's one of those where it's just like they have her on like the medication and all that kind of stuff. But it's just one of those that, like, you know, I wish that she would, but at the same time, you know, you can't really force people to see the alternative and like the good, because like I said, it's just been stereotyped as so bad and negative that it will be nice. I feel over the years that more and more like stuff will come out. I mean, there has been studies, but at the same time, with it being banned for so long, there wasn't enough studies, like, as you know, the regular industries have been doing. So like, this will be nice that this is pretty much the start of like a whole new thing. And I'm like so stoked to like be a part of it, because the other part I like about the industry is that they're more, so it's like, it's more about relationships. It's not so much about like sell, or like getting, I mean, don't get me wrong, you have snakes, all those kind of people in every industry. But at the same time, the community, it's more about like, you know, building that relationships, you know, them being there. I love the community and the way that they just come together and everything and work together, is the cool part. And it's like that they do have a mission where it is to help the people and help get more knowledge and help get more education out there for the people. Just because, I mean, there's millions of people, thousands of people who haven't even used cannabis or had a bad experience or have been told so negative about it, that it will be nice to actually be able to explain. Because I mean, I've had people over the years that they've been negative about it, they have whatever, but at the same time, like they have came forward. And those are the ones I usually like switch over. Like I get them suggested on CBD first, just because, especially if they've never used cannabis or any of that, like I don't know how a person's gonna react. So it's like getting them used to, it's like try out the hemp and everything first, and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. I love the industry, like I said.
Interesting stuff. You know, I always say people fear what they don't understand. And I became familiar with it. Well, I can't remember what it's called here, but unfortunately, she was diagnosed too late. But I do know that she did send me messages and that we did speak on the phone that it did alleviate her pain.
Yes.
So you mentioned something very, very important. It doesn't take it away, it doesn't cure, but it does slow it down. It does bring, you know, pain relief and things like that. So that's very, very interesting. Thank you for explaining that. Because it's, you know, it's something that not a lot of people would like to talk about, and we like to break stuff open here at Meticulous. We like to talk about the things that others necessarily don't want to talk about. Now, you and I talked about community. You just mentioned community as well. We've covered leadership, and I want to ask you, you know, I love the hashtag gratitude. I'm so grateful to the universe for every single special day. I want to ask you about gratitude. What does that signify to you, and what are you grateful for today?
uh, Gratitude for me, it is definitely it's a good feeling. Gratitude for me, gosh, let's see, it's really okay, so pretty much what I'm grateful for. Let's start with that first. I mean, I'm grateful to have this opportunity with this life, like this new life. I am grateful that I can keep pushing forward, even if I don't see the, you know what I mean? And I mean, I have the vision and see it, but sometimes, you know, it's to keep going. Sometimes we like lose, you know what I mean? We get down, all that kind of stuff. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people in my life today, that they have been supporting me through all my stuff. I mean, I am grateful for my kid, because I mean, honestly, it's like even on the days, I mean, before, it's just that she helps give energy sometimes, where it's like, especially if I'm feeling down or, you know, not feeling good enough, like, you know, we go through that stuff. We're our hardest critics. And it's just cool that, like, you know, my kid like reminds me, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and it's like, she couldn't even do anything. I mean, she could just be sitting next to me, and it's just like this piece where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like what it is. Just grateful is just being blessed to be having an opportunity. and not taking it for granted. I definitely don't take any of my stuff I get today granted, just because I know where I was and everything like that. And the fact is that every day today is so much better than any day before. So it's like, I actually, you know what I mean? Like, my energy is so much different. I'm positive. I like love smiling. I love, you know what I mean? Just being out there. And at the same time, my whole goal is to continue to keep sharing the message and doing all that, just because it's having the hope and the courage to keep going even when you don't see it. And for me, that was, I've been through times of that, and at the same time, it's to show that I can, that, you know, no matter what your situation is, no matter what, there's always a way to get out of it. There's, you know what I mean? And sometimes we don't even like those choices. I mean, for example, like, in order for me to turn my life, I had to stay 10 months at a shelter. I got a job, all this kind of stuff, but it's like, it definitely was an eye opener. Just because it's like, I was like, whoa, in this situation. So it's like, you know, having that and being grateful and blessed that I went through all that, because it makes it even more blessed now. The fact, like, today, it's like I have a roof over my house, or my head, you know what I mean? I have things today that, like, I never thought was possible. You know, my kid is in my life full time, all this kind of stuff. So it's like, I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful.
You definitely are very blessed, and you definitely love to smile, and you have an amazing energy, Amanda. It's such a pleasure to know you. You know, you're just such an amazing female woman, model, entrepreneur, businesswoman, mom. Absolutely amazing to know you. And you know, you said something earlier that when we were talking, you said that you are doing something for a friend of yours because you want to help her, you know, into the industry. And it made me think of that quote, you know, as we rise, we lift. And that's all about what Meticulous Moments is about.
Mm-hmm.
We love helping people to rise. We help uplifting people, you know, assisting them where we can, bringing their stories out there. So I want to thank you for making the time. I know you have a very busy schedule, and yet you made the time to spend here with me in these beautiful moments. And I've got one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I ask you to leave the audience with a few words of wisdom.
Okay. Okay. Well, pretty much, I just want to tell everybody that one of my favorite quotes is to make sure that you follow your dreams and don't give up on them. Even if you can't see the vision, or even if the days that are like kind of blurry, all that kind of stuff, it definitely it's going to be worth it, even when there are times that you don't feel like it. To keep going and just to keep having faith, because when you actually look back, you know, you are way better than where you are today, even if you have some downs and ups. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, people have those all the time. I mean, I have lost a few different jobs over the years, you know what I mean? Even though I've been on this new path, and it's like, it definitely gets you down. It definitely, you know, and it's just that, to not, I mean, use like your resources, reach out, you know, be around people that, you know, see kind of the same vision. They don't have to have the same exact plan as you, but at the same time, they see a vision. It's like, you know, they want to be something or do something in their life. So it's like, being around those kind of people, it helps you keep growing and keep being a better person. And, you know, so yes.
Beautiful. Thank you for being such a lovely guest. Thank you for sharing your life experiences with us, for trusting us, you know, enough to have this discussion. And we appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you so, so much. Have a beautiful day.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Are y'all ready for this?